Hello everybody, I hope you can hear me. I went to set up my mic today and I got a red light. So the mic is dying, so I didn't want to do this video and halfway through the video the sound conks out. So we're just going to do this without the mic. I hope you can hear me well. Well, usually you can. My always concern is that there's going to be too much background noise, such as Nikki making a drink right now. But also mainly for music. Hopefully the Rob Stewart music isn't too loud and we can work our way through it without having the the YouTube god saying, nope, can't play this, we heard copyrighted music. So I'm going to continue to talk. Hopefully my talking will drown out the music and we won't have any problems. So this is week 14 of Signed Comics. We have day 89 through 95. I didn't post a video yesterday because I was doing stuff during the day. So, hence we are doing it on Sunday. So we're only getting one video this week. So, but we're still working on this one. Hopefully I can get this guy done today. So you can see I'm working on the trapezius muscles right here. And even though, so we're just going to town, working on it, trying to get it done. So, but yeah, we got day 89, which was Generation X, issue 15, signed by Tom DeZinga. Remember, normally Scott Lobel was doing the artwork, or was doing the writing chores for Generation X. This has, I think this one actually, it's Scott did the plot, and Todd did the script. So the story is done by Lobel, or Lobdell, and then because mostly because of deadlines and whatnot, Todd was brought in to do the scripting of it. So got the opportunity for him to sign it. So nice. It's always nice to speak to Todd at cons. He's a very nice gentleman to always talk to. So it was nice to speak to him and get him to sign this book. So, and of course, everybody knows him from his work with Ringo, with the oh god, I'm drawing a blank. You guys know which book I'm talking about. And then, of course, he did the with Craig Rousseau. He did a series of books. So, but yeah, so they had him sign it, and then of course we have day 90 is Generation X number 18, and day 18 we have it signed by Chris Pacello and Mark Buckingham. And then what's really neat is when you go up to see Chris Pacello to have him sign books, a lot of times if he's able to, he will do remarks on some of the covers while he's talking to you. There was one I was watching, I think it was he was talking to somebody, they were signing an issue of Death, and while he was there talking to them and signing the issue of Death, he drew a big set of angel wings on on the back of Death. So with this one, because it was all the bubbles on it, he just took his Sharpie, his metallic pink Sharpie, and just started drawing additional bubbles and drawing bubbles inside the bubbles of this issue. So very nice. I got a remark for free just by talking to him while I was having him sign the books. So that's always a nice treat. And then after that, we went to day 91 with Free Comic Book Day, Gotchaman number 0, signed by Chris Pacello and John Workman. John Workman didn't letter the story that Chris Pacello did, Chris Batista did. I apologize. It was Chris Batista who did it, who did the artwork. What it was, there was like 3 stories in this issue for Free Comic Book Day. Chris did the first story. John Workman did the lettering for the second story. And just to have both their signatures on the book was such a treat. And the big thing about this is, from going to Garden State Comic Fest on an annual basis, I saw and knew that he was doing this book almost a year before it came out. So he was like showing off. He had a sketch pad showing like all the drawings of all the Gotchman characters, and how like, he was doing these drawings just to get a feel for the characters and whatnot. And hey, it looks really neat how it's turned out. He's been having a ball doing it. I know I was miffed. Once again, he was showing how the colorist would go in and like take out like lines that he drew and replace it with computer with colored lines, and it took away from the book itself, from the artwork, which, as I always say, colorists, stay in your fucking lane. So, but it's just having them sign. This is we're having Free Comic Book Day as a means, like, hey, get check out this book. It's going to be coming out. A great promotional tool. It's the reason why I was going to get it beforehand, but just to get that issue 0, it was going to be a part of Free Comic Book Day, and then it was part of, you got that book, it gave you a preview, and then the next month, Gotchaman started as a monthly book. So, very happy. And then, on top of that, just so you guys know, next month for Free Comic Book Day is they are going to be doing Speed Racer is the free comic, and Chris Batista again is going to be doing the pencils and inks for Speed Racer for that series when it comes out the following month of that year. So very, very cool, very, very excited about that. So that's the funny thing is, like, I still have a pull list from my local comic book store, but my pull list is no Marvel, no DC. It's all of these smaller press that they got the licenses to do these titles, like Dynamite having Thundercats and Space Ghost, now Herculoids, Johnny Quest. Those are the books I'm getting on a monthly basis. I'm not getting Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. I'm not getting those books anymore. These are the ones, and here's the thing: is by and large, a lot of these bigger name artists who used to work for Marvel and DC are starting to do books for these smaller press because they're licensed products. So very, very happy for these guys. And I think that's one of the things that also draws me to have faith in the books coming out, is that these named artists, they're going towards them, which means because most likely because they like the character, so they're giving it their all. So, but I mean, of course, you still see in some ways where they're still like they're having to take shortcuts just because they're not making as big of a page rate with these small press companies. So the fact that they're going towards these small press companies tells me that this is where the money is also for selling pages, that they're going to make more money selling pages doing Gotchaman than, say, doing Spider-Man or Superman. So, but yeah, so getting that one issue signed, a lot of fun. Very happy to get that book signed. Like I said, because I knew a year before the book came out that it was coming out as Free Comic Book Day, and it was going to be a monthly series. I thought it was going to be a 4-issue series. I'm surprised it's going as long as it is, but I'm very happy that it is. So, and then following that, we had Day 92, Generation X Fantastic Four crossover, signed by Kevin Maguire and inked by Carl Story, who also signed it. And this is one of those deals where it's like, it was just a one-up. You didn't need to know too much. If you knew about the characters, great, but you didn't need to know the history of every single issue leading up to this crossover event. It was just a simple one-off story. The big thing about it was, of course, for me, I looked at it was, if you look at it carefully, you can see where Carl Story was adding to Kevin Maguire's pencils. And when Kevin Maguire does his pencils, the inking, you see how he enhances it very subtly, because he's got such tight pencils with the very subtle. This is the big thing about Kevin Maguire. He is very subtle with the push and pull of his pencils. So as a result, you need to have an inker who's not going to trace it, but it's going to add that slight push and pull to the pencils. So having both these guys sign it, very happy, very enjoyable that this is one of the books I picked out for these guys both to sign. In fact, I think if I remember correctly, this was one of those scenarios where Carl Story signed it first, and then I had Kevin Maguire sign it like a year later. So, but like I said, very happy to have it. Then following that, we have Generation X Ordinary Heroes, penciled by the extraordinary Adam Hughes, and then who signed it. And this was a big deal, or a fun issue to see when it came out, because when you look at it, in the one panel, you can see Mike Chen in the foreground as a framing device, as one of the college kids. Like, oh wow, look, because there's this big battle helicopter landing in the middle of campus. And then also with this book was Lynch, the Lynch character. You can see clearly that Adam was using Clint Eastwood as the reference for drawing Lynch. And this is where for me, this is where you first really started to see how artists during this era were really starting to utilize reference material of famous actors and actresses for various characters. And it wasn't just Clint Eastwood as John Lynch. If you look at the Burnout character, you can see that it is Luke Perry from 90210. He was being used as the reference for doing Burnout. So so having him sign, I actually have issues 1 and 2 of this series signed by Adam. He wrote and penciled it. And this is also one of those books where it's like, again, typical Image fashion, I think it took him like over a year between issues 1 and 2. But I think also part of it was the way I understood how the story went was Jim Lee wanted Adam Hughes to do a contour with Wildstorm, and Adam was like, "Hey, I got this book I gotta finish, and I only got issue 1 done." And Adam was like, and Lee's like, "I don't care. I want you to do the shows." So that might have been, if that is true, then that would be a reason why it took so long between issues 1 and 2, because he wasn't able to dedicate as much time. So, and I think this is one of the last stories that Adam Hughes was doing books, interiors. I think after this he pretty much went being just doing covers for Marvel, DC, and everybody else. So I could very well be wrong, but no, actually, you know what? Now as I'm saying this, no, remember he did an Archie book back in the last 15 years. I think it was 2012. So yeah, it'd be just over a decade ago. He did one or two issues of Archie with interiors. Yes, he did, because remember, he had the dog as the narrator, that shaggy dog as the storyteller narrator, and I guess throughout the story. So, but yeah, that's the reason. So yeah, that right there, I think that's the last time he did interiors. So, but he's always been a great cover artist. And a lot of times when they're looking at how to draw stuff, they do a lot of times look at how he's able to draw and just put such soft lines to create the image. I would say he's also one of the artists that really, really grasped the concept of doing artwork with color and not just pencils and then let a colorist do it. He was, at that point, he was starting to learn how to do the computer coloring and started And eventually he got to the point where he was doing all the computer coloring himself. I know there's some people that joke how he's like a very old version of Photoshop. And he just never allows it to be updated so he doesn't have to be charged for it. So, which I know is a big problem with Photoshop now, is where people buy it and then they actually aren't paying it, they're like renting or leasing it. And they've got to constantly pay for the updates and have like a monthly charge. Which is honestly the reason why I've never really investigated Photoshop for utilizing it for computer work, whether it be drawing or for computer coloring. But yeah, he does a great job. I'm very happy that I've got this issue of Generation X Ordinary Heroes signed. And like I said, I've got issue 1 and 2, even though I'm only showing you guys issue 1. So, and then after that, we've got Geomacer, Day 94, Geomacer number 1, signed by Rags Morales. Now, if you take a look at how Rags does his signature for Geomacer number 1, this issue, I had it signed in the mid-90s, if you will. And so you can see how he did his signature, where he signs Rags and then he turns the book upside down and does Morales upside down. And then if you were to go back in my timeline and look at First Wave, when he did the signature of First Wave, how he just signs it Rags Morales with a line underneath of it. And that he did that one, I would say mid-2000s he did that one. He signed that one that way. And then you're going to see this week an issue of Hawkman that he signed. And you'll see again how he's changed his signature again. So Rags is one of those artists that his signature is an evolution in progress, just as his pencils and his artwork is constantly evolving. Same thing goes with how he does his signature. So, and I'll probably be seeing him, I think it might be next week. I think it's next week, and there's a show up in Lehigh Valley that he'll be at. So I'll be getting him to sign a couple more books. And then after that, the last day, which was yesterday, Ghoul number 1. And this was signed by Bernie Wrightson. This is one of the first Wrightson books I think I had him sign. It was just one of those where it's like, I mean, I thought it was I remember when he was doing the cons when this book came out. So it's fresh in my mind, so that's the reason why I wanted him to sign it. Keep in mind also, I don't have a lot of his old stuff. I only have his newer stuff. Like, actually, you know what? Now that I'm saying this to you guys, the first book I ever had him sign was The Weird by DC. Had him sign The Weird, had him sign Batman Cult. Then after that was when I had him sign The Ghoul. So, and he's got such a beautiful signature. So big flowing lines. So, and I don't know, this was a neat book to have. And like I said, that's the reason why I was like, given the opportunity, pardon me, excuse me. That's the reason why, like, after he did the book, after I had him sign the Weird and the what was that other book, the Batman Cult, that's the reason why I had him sign the Ghoul. So, but that's the week in signed books. So went kind of fast on this one, primarily because of the background. Didn't go too deep into too much of the books, but I mean, these are the books I picked out. Now, I will let you guys know, I don't have anything for the H's for Marvel. I've got very few books in the I's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, not just post what I have. I'm going to be very specific in what I post in the I's, but that's going to give me more places or more days to share Justice League. Justice League is my favorite book. It was it was the first superhero book I started buying, and so I've got a very large. In fact, I think I've got enough signed JLA books to fill up a short box. I mean, that's just like if I ever have a choice between when I have a choice with artists, if they did a story in Justice League, it'll go at the top of my list of preferences. So, okay, I'm liking how that's turning out. So, we'll go down here and we'll work on this. So that's where we are with signed books. Like I said, I know I really want to say I think next Saturday is the show up in Lehigh Valley. If it is, then you won't be getting a video from me on Saturday. I'll just post a video on Sunday, just talking about the books I had signed that week, or that I'm posting on X that were signed, along with talking about the Lehigh Valley con. So think of it this way: you won't be getting a video on Saturday, but you'll have an extra long video on Sunday. So, guys, you all have a great day. I know I'm having a great day. Even though it's a rainy day, I'm still having a great day. And as always, take life one dot at a time.